You smell what The Rock is cooking.
Acknowledge me.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
We are bad to the bone. Get it? Bad to the bone.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I'll fight anybody. Who do you want? Just let me fight him.
Let me tell you something, Jim Ross.
Mega power, yeah. We got it for you.
We are the best of the best.
Woo! Wheeling, dealing.
Smart marks.
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
Welcome to another edition of Talk 'em Into the Building, a pro wrestling show where we focus specifically on the promo. We talk about the talkers, we hype the hype men, and we pontificate on the promo. My name is Adalid, saying what's up, and welcome from the West Coast. And I'm joined by my East Coast compadres, my pro wrestling homies, Adrian and Greg. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
What up? Happy to be back.
And happy to see you guys. I'm so excited to talk to you guys. I love this. I love this time of the year. And what a promo to look at tonight, because tonight we're going to be focusing on a promo that, at least personally, I didn't think we'd ever see. And we're talking about the latest babyface Cody Rhodes versus a heel John Cena promo from Monday Night Raw on Netflix, because I have to throw out that plug because they sure like to every other sentence.
Oh yeah, branding.
Yeah, well, it certainly works. So look, fellas, we're there. I can taste Mania. It's in the air. It's coming. We know the main event of night 2, the true main event. Sorry, CM Punk. And ultimately, I mean, these guys go back and forth. Let me break it down for you guys. So first of all, we have a hugely long WrestleMania style, give you a taste entrance on both guys' behalves, mostly Cody, with a hot crowd in London. And man, they were hanging on every word. They were reacting to everything. And right off the bat, you got Cody almost breaking down himself before John can. And then John reacting. And then we get a back and forth. And a back and forth again, down to Cody finally getting some comeuppance physically on John Cena. But, you know, instead of talking about it, maybe let's look at a little piece of it from Monday Night Raw. Before we dig into the conversation, we're going to talk about what we thought about these promos from that night.
Manipulated your way to the top of this business, and your ego outmatches your ability. All you have done here is ride the coattails of my success. I have been so great that the WWE can hand the heartbeat of this organization to my chauffeur. That's right. Cody Rhodes, your champion, is nothing more than my chauffeur. A slimy pickpocket who thinks just because he stole the blueprint he can run the kingdom. There's your why, Cody Rhodes, because you with that disgusts me. You sat by my side for years and stole every secret you need to be undeniable, but you are still underwhelming.
Dig into the show. Wow. And we left out a lot. So if y'all are interested in that, we'll put a link to the actual promo. But fellas, I mean, that, and then that ending where, like, you think it's over, John's, you know, doing that, you know, that fading away, and he comes back and he eats it, right? Because he falls right into it. But Greg, I'm gonna come at you because, you know, we've lived through this era of John Cena. We were there. We lived through Super Cena, John Cena. And I mean, I wasn't a fan. I don't think, you know, anyone of our generation was, but I could be wrong. Greg, what did you think about this promo?
So, overall, great. I think when Cena is motivated, he's really good on the mic. My issue with Cena, though, he's got to know who he is. He's got to be careful not to get too creative. And I think he's done this over the years. Sometimes he knows how good he is, and he will bury somebody on the mic on purpose. The difference here is Cody did not allow that to happen. Cody snapped back with some good stuff.
He did.
And there was a look that Cena gave him, almost like a proud father. At one point, there's that look that he got on his face like, oh, this dude's going to hang with me here. Because I was going to rewind a little bit. This when I started seeing this promo, I was like, oh crap, because it made me afraid. I'm not gonna lie, because it could flip. Because Cena did it to Roman, made him look foolish.
Yes,
He
yes,
did it
sir.
to Theory, he made him look foolish. And I'm like, this is not your role, Cena. Your role is supposed to make them look good, not make them look bad. And he can do it. And I think his ego, in my opinion, gets in the way. And I think in this case, he may see somebody who if he's invested, he will pass that torch, quote unquote. But I think this was Cody's coming out. And this is where I sit back and look at what Cody did on the snapback was excellent.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, Cody kind of pandered to the fans. He didn't have them right away. They started chanting Cena. He said they created me, and they were there, but they weren't there like they were the week before. But by the end, he just said, "Yeah, you're right." But he started spitting facts. Everything he said, he's a Vince creation, being Cena. Pronouns, pal. Cena is a Vince creation. And Vince just invested, and pushed him down our throats so bad that we did not like him.
Right.
Think about it. Just a couple years ago, dude's just getting booed out of the building.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it overall. I'm not gonna lie, I had to watch it twice because the first time, or a couple of times, because the first time I was like, oh, come on, John, don't do it, because he could.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but I thought it was good. But also, I think what you see here is a motivated Cena and a damn motivated Cody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, you hit it on the head. It doesn't feel like he's, for lack of a better word, mailing it in a little bit, because this could have been a nostalgia run, right? He could have just phoned it in.
Yeah.
I'll come back to you, Greg, because we're gonna hear more. I had a couple thoughts that I wanted to ask you, but Adrian, quick thoughts here. This reaction to this promo.
Well, like Greg said, Cena is one of the most dangerous promos in WWE history. We've seen it time and time again of him dressing guys down who weren't ready, and Cody stood on his own and went toe to toe with the guy. I personally like some of the shots that they gave each other. Some could be perceived as a shot at Tony Khan here or there.
You don't say. Nah.
Yeah, so I kind of like that stuff where it's catering to multiple levels of fandom. Like they gave us a little bit of the diehards. Like we were satisfied with a lot of the little insider stuff, right? But then as casuals, someone like my wife could watch it and be right there with the story, just with how those characters and or their motivations. Like John Cena, the last thing she saw of John Cena was the heel turn. So watching that, she was locked back in. It wasn't, she may have missed the previous 3 weeks, 4 weeks since that happened, but watching it, it brought her back in. It's that sort of deal that is missed when it comes to these narrations per se. When it comes to the promo, a lot of these promos expect for you to watch weekly.
Yes,
but this one did not. This one wasn't like that, and that's honestly why I like it so much, because the guys, both of them, brought their stories, brought their interactions, brought their past, where it wasn't if you're a new fan, you're just looking like, what the hell's going on? You're not confused. You understand who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. And this was the promo that this WrestleMania needed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because this is the main event. Make no mistake about it.
Yes.
This promo had to deliver, and both of those guys delivered. And I'm more so excited about that main event and the potential of John Cena winning, because that's what I want. I want him to win. I just want him to win. I love Cody, but I want Cena to win.
You mentioned something that really sticks out to me is it's almost like they were brushing with two different paintbrushes. the broad strokes, which anybody could lock in and come in and say like, what's
Right.
good? There's so many people around this time of year, especially this year when everything just amped up. They're on Netflix, the whole thing.
Right.
And they'll ask me because I'm the wrestling guy, you know, they know I love wrestling. Like, hey, what's up? And I almost have to say, like, honestly, just watch this week. You
Right.
don't need a lot. You don't need a lot to know like what's going on. All the secondary matches, they'll be fine. You know, if you enjoy even remotely wrestling, you'll get into it. But they also pay off a lot of the things that, as a, you know, we're all smart marks nowadays. Let's just call
For
it what
sure.
it is. They pay off references to smart marks, right? You just said there was a Tony Khan reference. The average viewer that hasn't watched this doesn't care about the wars. That completely,
Right over
they're
their
like, oh,
head.
some employer. Yeah, exactly. It goes over their head and they don't think about it, but they know it's an insult. They know it's
Right.
a put down, right? Down to even bringing up stuff. He basically self-insulted himself in the beginning, right? Cody did.
Right.
Cody self-insults, almost like preventative coverage of whatever Cena was going to come at him for, which he does come back to that too
He
eventually.
pulled a B rabbit from
That's
his
exactly
mouth.
what that's exactly what I was thinking.
Good pull.
But plot twist, Cena still had more and more ammunition.
Right,
It was
more in the
like,
front.
no, I still got more in the tuck, man.
Right. He
No.
wasn't
Don't
Captain
worry.
America standing off to the side
Right.
getting reamed out.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, but I thought that was really cool because like the last thing I expected was like, oh, and the company that I created I got booed at, which is like legitimately what everyone thinks is the reason he left, was like, well, I'm not getting over as the WWE guy, so I'm gonna go to WWE then to make it work. And it did. But there's just these little moments, and I'll be honest though, like I like Cena. I think so. There are these moments where it feels like he's reading a script, like momentarily, like a couple lines, where clearly, I mean, this rehearsed. You know, he probably ran it through a couple of times or just wrote it himself. Who knows? But it's those only moments that take me out just a little bit, but not enough to me to be like, this is great. I love this stuff, and I love the fact that, like Greg said, it feels like we finally have a made man. Not that we didn't think so before, but truly a mainstay for generations to come in Cody Rhodes. Because lack of a better word, this is the litmus test, right? He's gone up against the greats, but the other greats he was in the ring with were, not, they've been out for a little while, whereas Cena's an active wrestler, right? Triple H is inactive. Even the last time when Undertaker was there, he just served the purpose. Even Rock, for that matter. I mean, he was already slowed down, and to see a very top of his game still Cena physically giving it his all, standing toe to toe with someone that is now there. He is the guy. He is this. Whatever we are going to call this generation, he will be representative with Cody Rhodes, I should say.
Yeah, I think there's a few things kind of going back to the whole references. It's like watching a Marvel movie. If you're a true comic book fan, you
Yeah.
get certain references. If you're not, it just kind of, like you said, falls over your head and keeps on going. But that's what I love about this whole era, is that Triple H allows that to happen. Like, we had references to Cody driving Cena, which was real. Back in the day, he was legit his driver, and they hung out, and it was what it was. Whereas, in the past, you go back to even Triple H versus Undertaker, they acted like the first match never happened. We used to always have that deniability, just didn't acknowledge the past. But there's a line that Cena said, because now with the Triple H era, I'm like, you can't put nothing past anything. Like, there's so much stuff that's intentional. Cena said, I'm the last real champion. That just set up a storyline with every single champion since, including Roman.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
And all he has to do is stand up and say, I was in my own situation, but I paid attention to what you said. You're the last real champion. I held that thing for 3 years, 4 years, whatever it was. And I mean, that right there, with Roman's current iteration and his current comfortability on the mic up against Cena right now, dude, that would be
It's a different
crazy
world.
too.
It's a different world now, man.
I mean, that one line just jumped out at me and said, "Oh, We got Drew storyline. We got a Roman storyline. We got a Seth storyline. We got a lot going on right there that could happen.
I mean, you can copy and paste what Cena said, right? You took my basically the mold of what I did. You took the
Right.
structure, and you're trying to basically copy and paste me, right? And he said it to Cody. You could say it to Roman. I
He
mean
said
that
to Cody, but Roman could come back and say,
it's more
"No, I."
apt for Roman.
But Roman could come back and say, "No, you know what I didn't do? They tried to make me you, and I went against it. I decided to go a different
Ah,
direction. When they tried to make me just like you, it didn't work because you were manufactured. You were, and then when I became me, this is what happened. Oh man, there's just so many
yeah,
places we can
Yeah.
go. That's what I love
so
about this
much.
promo is there's so many little things that you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's planting seeds down the
Yeah.
line,
hmm
and the more and more. I mean, if you listen to those Triple H interviews, like little snippets, and he's constantly saying, Raw kind of implied it in that tweet where he replied to someone online. They're planning years ahead now. Mind you, injuries, schedules, all these things interplay with decisions, but they are not planning, in the time of He Who Should Not Be Named. They're planning not week to week because we know the scripts were ripped up the minutes before or during the show. They have a Bible. They have what good script writing is. They have what seasons are. With Hollywood writers basically get paid, but obviously with the lens of pro wrestling, I think that as such like pays dividends as fans. That's the reason I'm going to be invested for years to
Yeah.
come,
but I think
far more than any other time.
as you talk about he who must not be named, that was his original way though. His original way was there's Mania like a year out, and he would
Originally,
back it
That's
up.
true.
If you ever listen to Bruce or even like hear conversations with Pat Patterson, it was all about that's where we're going, and then they backed everything. That whole Mega Powers thing was all laid out
Yeah.
well ahead of time, and so it's just like I don't know where that got lost. I feel like it got lost after they killed WCW.
yeah,
Mm.
there was no
Like
more
once he got on
creative
his own, yeah.
necessity. Yeah,
hmm
yeah, and then once he was, you know, just nobody was going to sway him, and he thought this was a direction.
For
Because let's
sure.
be real, look, I love John Cena, I love Cody, but realistically, that company can make anyone they want a star. I
That's
mean,
it.
if someone wants to step up and be given the ball, they got trust, especially nowadays. I mean, you're not gonna tell me like someone like Bianca Belair can't be the face of the company if they really put like money behind her. Or God, I'm just using her as an example because I think she's like super talented.
Right.
But there's just like this you know just pick someone. But going back to your point, Greg, though, yeah, it is by design, but also I think it's fascinating because talent is also in on it. I'm sure they know their storylines for them a lot
hmm
with less obscurity than they ever did, and for them to say, okay, now I can think and drop these nuggets that will pay off in the future, because now I'm curious. Um, there's so many storylines that can come of this, because like you said, it's the old guard versus the new guard in a lot of ways.
hmm
Even though Cody's not a young guy, but he is still the new guard of what we consider the top guy in the company. So when he says, they made me, right? The crowd made me. I mean, Cena was made too. It was just came in an era where we were dissatisfied. People of our generation were definitely dissatisfied with the direction of WWE, and by that regard, pro wrestling, because I know we were watching New Japan and we were
Yeah.
wherever other companies, but we're the hardcores. Let's be real.
Right.
But now when he says something like that, I'm like, okay, they're planting these seeds to keep Cody relevant. But then here's Cena, who also has this bigger arc, right? And he speaks to it. It's almost like this is his call to arms. Is I'm gonna take that, and that will be the last time you see it, because none of you are. It is not even a call to arms to Cody. It's saying none of you are deserving of being the true champion,
hmm
right? Kind of to Greg's point, and that's insulting to everyone. Hopefully in the locker
I think Cena. It's a whole different discussion, but Cena was pushed down our throats so bad is why we rebelled against him.
room. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, and then he was booked as Superman, rebelled
Right.
against. The same thing happened with Roman.
Yeah.
The difference is, and I think the same thing happens to Cena if he's in Roman's shoes at that time frame. Because Cena, when he came out with the whole Thug Life thing, everybody's like got behind him because he's creative.
Right.
And then it just became the kids, and the kids liked him because he was entertaining. He had a look, he had colors, he had all this. There's a lot of stuff that went with it, and it's like the other thing about that is like you start to learn more about Cena. He's a genuine dude, but he's also kind of crazy on the back end in a good way, like wild a little bit. Like you saw some of that in the Total Divas stuff or the Bella stuff, and you don't get that with Cody. Cody's probably more genuine to being a fan's person or a people's champion per se
Right.
than Cena.
Yeah.
And it would be interesting to see, could Cena make it today in that character? I say no. He's
Not with that
nostalgic now.
origin. Yeah, not with that origin.
He's nostalgic now. Hip hop has evolved.
Yeah.
Everything has evolved. The hip hop audience has evolved. And what I mean by that is when he did that, it went into the whole thug life thing. Everybody's like, oh, this is cool. But today he'd have to actually be able to spit some actual bars. He'd have to have a different type of flow. He couldn't just come out there and do what he did then.
That's
because
true.
now you got Travis Scott showing up. Now you got all these other people showing up throughout.
I mean,
You
got
gotta
wrestlers who rap. So
exactly. So you have a whole different type of vibe, right? So could he do it? It would be a very different presentation.
And you know, you talk about that because you even hear the origin story of how he even got on TV with the gimmick, right? Because
100%.
he was vanilla. That first interaction with Angle. He was, to me, having remembered him when he was the prototype, literally the guy with the flat top head, Terminator like RoboCop, whatever. And I'm like, oh, it's the same dude. They just stripped away the goofiness of the character, and it's John Cena. All right, cool. But it was fun. I remember at the time because he was part of that prop with Edge, with Rey Mysterio, right? They were going to define the future. But at no point did I think he's going to be this John Cena.
Right.
We thought, okay, you'll find your place. And that's kind of why I feel when you ask that question is how would he fit in nowadays? He'd still have a place. I just don't think it would be that prominent.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, just going back to this whole thing, like you guys talk about WrestleMania season, that I think that promo is what WrestleMania needed.
Definitely.
I think there's been a couple of things that have fallen a little bit flat. I know we're not trying to unpack all that right now, but I think this is what it needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you can mention
it's
it.
got me wanting to watch next week. It talked me into the building next week.
Yeah. I have two things I'm hanging on, and it's interesting because for me they're like this for very personal reasons. It's next week because that's it. We got two more Raws before Mania, or something like that. And then Ray Phoenix because I'm a huge fan and I want to see what happens there. And
yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Shout out Ray Phoenix. But yeah, Adrian, any other thoughts you might have had on the promo or the interaction or kind of where this is going?
Well, I mean, you guys have said plenty, and I don't want to just regurgitate it. The only thing that I wanted to add is how fun was that London crowd?
Oh, dude.
Like that London crowd brought it, and I know a lot of talk has been would London welcome a WrestleMania, or would WWE entertain bringing WrestleMania there?
Doesn't it seem like they're testing the waters?
That's my
Come
question.
on.
Like, do y'all think that we're gonna get a WrestleMania in London?
I mean, it's all but a lock, right? I mean, come on.
I mean, the
people
time
are gonna
difference is
travel.
my big holdup is the time difference. But I mean, that crowd was hot, and I keep going back to it. The amount of people that were at that AEW show, that that Triple H is just looking at that and he's like, no, I want that. He's like, I want that.
You're gonna do it on 2 nights.
Yeah.
To your point, though,
he's gonna double it.
Right.
But to your point is like the time difference. Let's say it starts at noon, right, or 11. Hey, look, we're Americans. We get up for like football on a Sunday,
That's
right?
true. That's true.
Why
That's
not?
true.
Why not pro wrestling? It's like it's an event. If you like it, you're gonna show up. Bottom
Yeah.
line, or watch it later, whatever.
Because
I
I
think
will say I'm sorry to interrupt, but I I am already seeing amongst the IWC, which is a bad judge anyway when it comes to criticism, but I'm seeing them complain about the start time for the Hall of Fame this year is starting 10 Pacific, so you know that's going to be
Mhm.
1 o'clock our time on the East Coast. So I'm seeing a whole bunch of complaining about that, and that's why I'm
Yeah.
asking. That's why I'm
I mean,
asking about
I'll
that
say they
hold up.
booked themselves into a corner on that Hall of Fame thing because now that ever since SmackDown's been on Friday, it's like, what do we do? We got
Yeah.
NXT. We're doing 2 nights of this. We
True.
got SmackDown. Unless they add Thursday, I mean, and do Hall of Fame on Thursday. I just don't
They
know how
just
else
need
they
to
do
do Hall of Fame at a different, like that
it.
week. Doesn't
SummerSlam.
matter. Doesn't have to be like the night before. It's
They
on.
can always pop it on SummerSlam.
Yeah, just move it. Like,
I
nobody
mean, but
cares.
I think the other thing about that is that they're not dumb either.
Yeah.
So some of those guys are being flown in by WrestleCon.
True.
Ah,
Very true. Very
So
true.
they'll be like, "Oh, who are they flying in? Let's grab those."
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
yeah.
I mean this was a well needed promo
hmm
for that main event to drive this WrestleMania. I will give WWE credit for initially the way we all saw WrestleMania being built, which was
hmm
it wasn't like years past where we knew we knew half of the card by SummerSlam. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Yeah.
all knew. This year was not like that at all because I'm pretty sure if we look back on our predictions of what was WrestleMania, or like I said CM Punk was going to be in a triple threat, but I thought it was going to be Seth and Drew. I was like,
Right.
it's got to be like these three have interacted
Yeah.
for damn near a year and a half. Like it's
Yeah.
got to happen. But now they gave us Seth, Punk, and Roman. Like
And
it's
like
like,
night
dude, what
one,
the
like
hell? Yeah, like it's crazy.
no, and it's the same that episode. I said Cena, but not because he's gonna turn heel. It's
Right,
just like, oh, that's logical, right? All
right.
your answers are logical. Like we were thinking finally with logic, and yeah, they threw a curveball, like biggest one
Yeah,
they could have, basically.
hmm
the
Um,
women and all that, man. Like
yeah,
it's a very intriguing WrestleMania build. Is at first I was like, okay, they clearly have a plan, but they're just delaying some of the
hmm
pieces.
hmm
But then it started to get closer and closer. We're like, okay, what are y'all doing? What are we doing? Why are you holding it? Why are you
we're a
waiting?
month
Why are you
out.
waiting? Right. And it's been for me, it's been very refreshing as a wrestling fan to be more so locked in on weekly
Yeah,
WWE programming because all the years before we already knew what the matches were. So I could ignore basically
yeah,
3 weeks before
hmm
WrestleMania,
yeah.
catch up the go home show, and then I'm like, okay, I understand
And
everything. You know that,
and in some cases, the 3 weeks after Mania, because they're
Right.
just it's like the dead zone, basically.
Exactly.
I don't think that's
Exactly.
going to be the case nowadays. But anyway,
Exactly.
No.
I'm gonna come at here on the show. We rate the promo, and we rate it on the Dusty scale, paying salute to the great Dusty Rhodes. And that's what we're gonna do tonight, just to close out tonight, guys. Gonna start off on a rating of 1 to 5 Dusties. What you thought about this promo, and I'm gonna get it going here. I thought this promo was exactly what it needed to be for the season. I echo all the sentiments that this season really needed some oomph to it, something to stand on, something that you can point to and tell everybody that's my main event. That's what WrestleMania. That's the poster that you're gonna hang for years on your wall. I'm gonna get it a 5. I mean, I thought it was pretty stellar. I think it definitely talked a lot of people into the building that maybe were fair weather fans or aren't even watching, and I know that for a fact. Greg, I'm gonna come at you. What was your Dusty rating for this promo?
Yeah, I agree in the fact that it was what was needed. There's 3 elements to this promo I thought were excellent. I thought Cena was good, really, really, really good. I thought Cody was excellent, and I rate Cody higher only because
Mm.
I didn't know what to expect from him. Is he going to step up or not? I knew what to get from John, right? But I thought Cody was just, I mean, one of his best promos ever, in my opinion.
Definitely.
And then the crowd. The crowd
Right.
was played well. And what I mean by that is Cena played him well, and then Cody took him back. And it was just like, okay, because they started to side with Cena, then they kind of went back to Cody, like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's really our dude over here.
Mm.
Yeah, you were good. You were good for a while, but yeah, we really over here. So I'm going 5 as well. 5 Dusties.
Nice. I'm going 5 as well, guys.
Ooh.
Both guys delivered. And my main point is that this promo drew in just drew in and satisfied not only diehards like us, but the casual fan.
Mm-hmm.
It got you caught up to the feud and the rivalry and this what should be a great match. And it definitely talked us all into the building. So that's five Dusties.
Ooh, that is a clean sweep, everybody. I don't know if you've had that on the show. So
No,
that's special.
first
You
one,
watched a
first one.
special episode. First one, 5 stars, five rating on the Dusty scale. Excited, y'all. And it's that time of season, y'all. So if you haven't jumped in on the Talk 'em into the Building bandwagon, come on in. Talk'emIntoTheBuilding.com. Talk'emIntoTheBuilding.com. And we're here. You know, we're going to be regular with our promos. We took a little pause there for a little bit, but we're back. And we're loving it. This is the time of year. So join us on this ride. We're going to keep talking promos. We're going to keep talking about the talkers, hyping the hype men, and pontificating on the promo. Follow us on the socials, YouTube, Talk 'em into the building, but go to talk'emintothebuilding.com. That'll take you straight to the YouTube page. And follow us on the socials. Show some love with comments. Let us know what you think. What are your thoughts on this promo and anything else with the Mania season? But for tonight, we're going to leave you there with another edition of Talk 'em into the Building. From Greg, Adrian, Salalid. Have a good one. See you next time.
You don't know what hard times are.